Welcome to I Am Your Target Demographic. This video is a little different than everything else I've done, as today I'm going to talk about those of you that might want to start, or you're involved in already, a club that focuses on whatever you're interested in, which for most of my viewers is probably movies, video games, comic books, things like that. Outside of the YouTube world, this is what I do as a career. So I work at a university and I help college students start clubs and then run them. So they do events, they recruit people. So I've been doing this for a few years, and I thought it'd be cool to share some of that expertise from my work life with those of you that maybe want to do something like this. And maybe this will inspire you at your high school, college, whatever, to start a club. And if you're part of a club, maybe give you some ideas on how to revitalize it if it feels a little stale. If you're not in school, this video might also give you ideas for discussions for your comic book store or adult other groups you're in. There might still be applications, but this is really targeted towards schools. So we're going to basically cover three things. We're going to talk about how to start a club, right? So what do you need to think about, what the general process might look like at your school, how to recruit people for that club. So how do you convince people to join? What type of people are you looking for? And thirdly, what then do you do? So events, meetings, ways to engage as a group. So some ideas for that. So let's start with the process of literally starting a club. So whether you're in high school, college, whatever, you'll likely need to put down on paper what you do and what your mission is. So this is when you need to start thinking critically about what you want the club to accomplish. Is this a club that is for the die-hard fans? You know, is your audience people that are already involved, they're engaged, they know about the subject? Or do you want a club that maybe appeals to casual fans and gets them to buy in? That maybe it's a topic they don't know much about, but now you're getting them to like this topic that you're interested in. I would encourage doing both. Both finding ways for veterans, so people that are knowledgeable, they've been around, they know the topic, find ways for them to be engaged, but also find activities and ways for casual fans to become super invested in this topic. And then when you're talking about the topic, is this going to be a club that is general fandom where you have kind of all sorts of different interests, or is it really specific? So maybe you have a club that's focused only on Marvel Comics or DC or a certain type of anime or a certain TV show, things like that. Like, are you going to get really specific, or are you going to keep it really general? In this document, so either like a mission statement or like a constitution, whatever the school asks of you, you might need to show a structure. So do you have officers in the group? What officers are they? What do they do? This is going to look very different for all sorts of groups. A lot of groups have very traditional president, vice president, whatever. But you have total reign to create unique positions that make sense for your group. So if you're doing a club that's focused on movies, maybe you have someone that is arranging screenings, and so you're going out and you're seeing movies. If you're doing a video game club, maybe it's someone that is organizing, teaching new people how to play, as opposed to the people that are players. You know, you can create positions that make sense for what you want to do. The key here is also to delegate. So you might be starting the club, but that doesn't mean you have to do everything. So feel free to create positions that make your life easier. So split up the work. This also means that more people are getting the chance to get involved. They become invested in it. They're more likely to be at events. They feel more invested in the group when they have some responsibility. So some ideas: have people responsible for event planning, money management, so have like a treasurer or something like that. Social media, you can have someone that is maybe savvy in that area. If you want to do a lot of recruiting and getting people to join your club, you can have someone specifically chosen for that. Another unique position might be if your group has an aspect of cosplay, so costume play, which a lot of fandom groups might. It might be interesting to have a position that they're in charge of teaching people how to, create things, how to, do it cheap, things like that. People that are experts in certain areas that make sense for your clubs. So think outside the box. And now all of this info is going to be in some sort of document, a constitution, mission statement, whatever, and you'll likely need to give it to the school. Now you need to recruit. So likely when you started the group, you have a small group of people that you already know. Likely your friends share similar interests, so they'll kind of come along for the ride with you. But you don't want the group to stay just you and your friends. You want to expand to, school-wide or whatever. So now is when you need to focus on how do you get those other people involved. A successful club needs to be sustainable, meaning that it'll last long beyond you. So you want to create a structure where there's constantly new people, new perspectives coming into the club to make sure it lasts for a long, long time. Now, when you're thinking of recruitment, this is where you need to address that question I brought up earlier of, are you trying to appeal to the hardcore fans, people that already know about that topic, or are you trying to appeal to a massive audience and people that maybe are interested and want to learn about it? If you're targeting a very specific type of person that already knows about what you're interested in, that makes recruiting a little easier, right? You can kind of do online stuff, put up messages, like find those people, easy. But trying to convince people to join that maybe don't know anything about your club is really tricky. And you're going to face a lot of rejection because it's probably what you care about is a very specific thing, and most people maybe don't care about that. So you're going to have a lot of people that say no thanks. You're going to have a lot of people that throw away your flyers, but that's just part of the game. So if you want to attract a massive audience, you're going to have to be out. Most clubs have some sort of tabling component where you're able to set up and share what you do. It's very important for your club, even once you're established, to be present. At most schools, there might be a lot of clubs in existence, but there's a handful that most students know about. That they say, yeah, I'm going to this club event, and most people know what that club is. There's also a lot of clubs that you never see, and so people can't acknowledge, they can't talk about because they know nothing about it. So you want to be one of the clubs that's always out there. So if you're trying to attract that casual audience, tabling is the best way to do it. Now you want to find a gateway for them. So for example, say you want to do a club that's focused on Marvel comic books or DC. You need to find a connection to lure them in. Say next summer, Avengers Age of Ultron's coming out. So on your flyer, you're now appealing to people that have seen the Marvel movies, right? That makes sense to them, but they know nothing about the comic books. So on your flyer, it says, come to our meeting, and we'll teach you everything you need to know before you go see Avengers Age of Ultron. So now it doesn't come off as you don't know anything, like you don't need to show up, but it comes off as we want to teach you, like get in the know. Like if you like the movies, you're gonna love this conversation. Or you can try hosting a marathon at someone's house, and it's, hey, come watch all these movies and catch up for this next one that's about to come out. This is something easy for a casual fan to say, I like the movies, but now they're learning from people that know a lot about the subject, and they're like kind of being exposed to this whole world, but in the context of something that they understand. Now when you're tabling, you might need to do something to stand out from the crowd. So if you're doing a big fair, it's the beginning of the year, there's something happening, you want to stand out. Most interest groups that we're probably talking about, so comic books, movies, anime, video games, stuff like that, there can be a component of cosplay. And this is a really good way to catch people's attention. I've seen tabling fairs, and when a group now has someone dressed like Batman, and people are taking pictures, now they're getting free advertising. So it's all over Instagram, hey, Batman is at the quad. It makes it kind of fun for people that just know Batman, right? They saw the movies, Batman's cool, I want to go take a picture. Now you slip them a flyer, and you say, hey, do you want to come talk about what we want from Batman v Superman? It kind of lures them in, and you probably have group members that have fun stuff like that they're willing to do. So this lures in new people, right? So now you're talking about Batman v Superman, and if you think Ben Affleck is going to be good or not, but you subtly start to talk about, hey, tomorrow night we're doing a comic book discussion on this Batman series. We're going to talk about The Long Halloween. And, I have a copy you can borrow, we can read it. So now you're making fans, right? So you're taking these casual fans and you're slowly easing them into the stuff that you are passionate about. But if you were to give them a flyer that said, tomorrow we're going to discuss this, comic book series, and it's now in a, graphic novel format, and it's all together, and it's really easy to read, but that sounds intimidating for a casual fan. So you want to ease them in with stuff that makes sense. So use movies, use the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the DC movies that are coming out, use the stuff that's in the mainstream media, to hook them and lure them in and make them fans. So now you have people coming to your meeting. You have events, you have meetings, you have things going on, and you've got this mix of casual fans that maybe don't know a lot, and then people that know a lot about that subject. So for example, we're talking League of Legends. You've got people that have never played but maybe are interested, and then you've got people that are almost competitive, right? So like really good. So you're gonna have to suit what you're doing to a varying level of degrees. If you only focus on one, you're gonna lose the other. So it's important to keep a balance. If you're only doing competitive play without any sort of introduction or teaching, these new players are gonna feel not welcome. Where if you're only doing introductory lessons and you're teaching people about the basics of the game, these competitive players, not gonna be interesting to them. So it's important to plan for both. So maybe you have these couple nights a week we're doing, this game we're gonna play, but these nights is for the newcomers. This is where we're gonna talk about strategy, we're gonna introduce you to classes, whatever. If you're doing comic books, so again, Marvel, DC, whatever, focus your big events around the movies that are coming out. So, hey, we're preparing for Age of Ultron. Hey, we're gonna talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is on TV, right? So we're gonna show the premiere or whatever. If there's a big event that's happening in the comic books, delegate one of your officers to maybe explain what's happening to the group, right? So they go up and they give a presentation on, hey, this just happened. Like, here's who's doing what, and this is this. And now they're making it interesting. So they're summarizing this big event that just happened in the comic world. So now casual fans are like, whoa, that sounds crazy. Like, could that be a movie? Like, wait, who is doing what? That sounds awesome. You're making it interesting to the casual fan, but you're giving a chance for those veterans in your group to go up and lead, to give a presentation, to share what's going on in that world. You're appealing to both audiences. Maybe longtime fans in your group want to do a profile of their favorite heroes, or lesser known heroes or villains or whatever that don't get a lot of love. So every week, for 10 minutes or so, someone goes up and shares, hey, this is so-and-so, and they do this, and there's a storyline where this happens. And every week, these casual fans are learning more and more about characters that probably won't ever be in a movie, but they're just learning about the mythology. And it's giving longtime fans a chance to share something that they love. Like, okay, this week I get to present for 10 minutes on my favorite hero, and here's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to do a PowerPoint, whatever. It gives them a chance to get up and present in front of a group. So now me as a casual fan, I'm way more excited for X-Men Age of Apocalypse because now I understand who Apocalypse is, right? So you're giving veterans a chance to present, and you're giving new people a chance to learn these cool little nuggets about the mythology that you care about. When new movies come out, go see it as a group. If there's people that are interested in cosplay in your organization, have them, come up with, hey, let's all do this, or let's do a team, or let's, let me teach you how to make a costume. If there's a convention nearby you for whatever interest you're involved in, plan a trip to go to it. This can be daunting if you're a new fan, so going as a group and going with people that have maybe gone before can make it a little more appealing. If you want to do a club that's maybe about movies, so you want to show movies or talk about directors, have the members of the club each share what they're interested in. So each week someone's going to share who their favorite director is and what their favorite movies are. Now the question might come up about doing movie showings at your school. Now this can be really expensive because you can't just show a movie, right? You have to purchase the rights to show a movie, and that's something really expensive that most clubs can't afford. So your two options are either to go to a theater and see it, right? So we're just going to plan a trip for the midnight premiere and we're all going to go see this movie. Or work with a larger group at your campus. There's probably someone that does events. And so you're going to work with them to, hey, you plan this event, you buy the tickets, but we'll help you do marketing, or we'll plan a costume competition, we'll do something, right? So work with established big groups on your campus to do movie screenings that maybe you couldn't afford. Now let's talk about using social media, both in terms of recruitment and running your events and meetings or whatever. There's a lot of opportunities here. The bad way to use social media is to only inform, right? So you have a Facebook page, but all you're posting is there's a meeting tonight. Super non-engaging. When you post things, you want to have a conversation. You want people to be writing, responding, so that between meetings, there's conversation happening. This gives those quieter people in your group that maybe don't speak up or maybe need time to do research and think about the topic before they talk. Now it's giving them that chance to participate. I would assign someone to be in charge of social media and make sure you're posting often. So it's not once a week with a reminder, but it's every couple days or every day there's a new topic to talk about. You could use this as a chance to do some of those spotlights about characters. So if you're doing comic books and there's a big event you want to talk about, so you're going to talk about Original Sin, which is a Marvel event that just happened, but you feel like people need to know some information before the discussion. So now on social media, you post some information about Nick Fury. So you say, here's yada yada yada, everything you need to know. So now me as a fan, I'm learning about Nick Fury, and I feel a little more prepared so that when this conversation happens, I don't need to ask as many questions. If your group is about something like video games, you can use the page to share strategies, videos. If there's a new game coming out that you're interested in, you can post updates. You can talk about, demos that come out. There's different things that you can share on that page, but always have conversation. Always be posting. I would also urge you to use Instagram for discussions. So maybe you post different characters and you say, okay, who would win in a fight between these two people? It's not just, here's a photo from our event that happened, but it's, what do you think? So now you have people commenting. It might even grow beyond your club, where if other people from around the world are interested in these discussions, now you have a lot of different voices being heard. So use Instagram for fun things like that, just discussions that happen between these meetings that you have. As a longtime fan of something, it's usually really rewarding to share what you love, right? So this is why members would love the chance to go up and, okay, this is my week to share something, or this is my profile that I'm going to write on this character that I want to talk about. It teaches you more about the world. It's like when you're studying math, right? But you help someone else understand it, so now you understand it better. Teaching can help you understand everything that's happening. So getting people to go up and teach about whatever you care about. So they're teaching video games, they're talking about movies, they're talking about comic books, whatever. It gets you to appreciate the art a little bit more. So make sure your established members, your people that are super informed on the topic, are definitely contributing. For example, there's a new Shazam movie, right, with The Rock playing Black Adam. So you have someone go up there and you explain, here's who Shazam is, and here's what might happen in the movie, and here he's in the Justice League. So now that person is understanding Shazam a little better, but so is everyone else in the audience who now, I like The Rock, but I knew nothing about Shazam. So everyone, win-win-win situation. So in summary, start with really thinking about what your club is going to be. Who's your audience? Is it going to be really specific, or is it going to be really general? Be present and public at your school. So use mainstream media, movies, whatever, to lure in those new fans and then make them long-time fans. With your social media, engage with people, don't just inform people. And then plan events that cater to both those veteran members of your group and those casual fans that have maybe never come to a meeting, never talked about the subject before. And then be proud. Be passionate about what you care about. When you go out there and you're tabling or you're recruiting for your group, be excited, because excitement is very contagious. And if they see how excited you are for this thing, they're going to want to know what it's about. If you've been involved with a club when you were in high school or college and you want to talk about what worked, post in the comments below, talk about what type of club it was, and share maybe whatever worked or didn't work for you. If you have questions, definitely also ask those questions. I can do my best to answer with my experience working with clubs. Hopefully this was helpful. I know this video is way different than the other stuff I've done, but hopefully for a small pocket of you, this is going to be really helpful. So thanks for watching.